Hey y'all, welcome to season 2 of We Loves to See It. I'm Mimi.
I'm Simone, and we are at the Third Wheel Podcast Studio in Hollywood, California. Mimi is right. This is season 2. We made it.
We made it.
We didn't get canceled yet.
12 episodes deep.
12 deep, and only
So
getting
deep.
deeper.
The deepest
Hurt me.
into the hole we can go.
K-hole. If you know, you know.
I'm glad to join once you're this deep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's why we had to choose none other than a good friend of ours on this first episode of season 2, Chase Friedman. How are you, my angel?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
No, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Chase and I met at the Burt Kreischer roast at the store. I don't even know how many months ago, but we just met. We were all waiting outside to try to get in. It was kind of chaotic to get people in.
It was chaotic.
And we kind of just met each other, and we just kind of, your crew and my crew just gravitated, like, okay, we're going to stick together. We're going to get in. And we had a great little spot right behind the panel.
It was a great spot. It was a really good time. That roast was hysterical.
It was.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So
Good stuff.
fucking funny.
really
Also,
into that.
and then you guys.
Well, I mean, we've hung out socially.
We've met at that bar that you guys don't mention the name of on this podcast.
I've made you a margarita.
Oh, yeah.
Did you like it?
Delicious.
You and your date?
Oh, yeah. We had a good time.
Are you guys still talking? Do you know which one that was?
Are we talking? I don't know.
Are you talking?
I say we talk occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Well, she was awesome. I thought she was mad cool. And congrats on that.
Thank you.
She was hot.
So speaking of getting into this, when I met you there, so you're from San Diego originally, right?
Yeah.
And how long ago did you move here?
So I moved here right after college. That was 2018.
Oh my God, baby.
Yeah.
Right.
Right after college, wanted to work in entertainment. I got a job at Paradigm, worked there for, I think, 8 months before realizing I wanted to work in comedy. So I moved to Levity and started working with talent management with comedians. And I was there until the middle of 2022.
Can you name some of the comedians you've worked with?
Sebastian Maniscalco, Burt Kreischer, Taylor Tomlinson, Mark Normand. A bunch. Whitney Cummings.
So you were in the management track. So were you an assistant or were you like fully managing?
I was an assistant until the end of 2021. It was called a project manager. It was kind of like half assistant, half manager. I was managing some people. I was signing people, and I was still an assistant on people like Burt Kreischer.
Sure. Where did you go to college?
I went to Whitman. It's this small school in Walla Walla, Washington. I played tennis there.
Oh.
It was.
You played tennis? Wow.
Yeah.
I know Walla Walla. That's in like the wine country, right?
You know what? Walla Walla is a great weekend getaway. You do not want to live there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was a little too small, but the tennis part of it was great. And I was really happy to move to LA after that.
For sure. Was it always LA or was New York in your radar at all?
It was always LA because of the weather. And I'm from San Diego. I'm close to home. It was literally, I graduated, I was home for like a month, and then I moved to LA with no job. I had a sublet for a month, and in that month I had to like find a job.
Wow.
And luckily I did at Paradigm. I liked Paradigm a lot.
Yeah, what'd you do there?
I was an assistant to the head of TV talent. Her name was Elisa Adler, lovely woman, treated me great. I know a lot of people have like horror stories working in agencies. I didn't. But yeah, even though I liked it, it was, nobody worked in comedy. It was like all of her clients were on like CBS dramas, which just wasn't my thing.
Right.
So I looked for anything in the comedy space and luckily ended up at Levity, which, turned out to be like the gold standard for management for stand-up comedians.
For sure.
And when I was there, I worked for Judy Marmel, who's the president, and she was also amazing. And I had a pretty great experience there.
Did you, was that like your first, like, choice? Like, were you like trying to go to other like companies, or was Levity like the one that you were like, I want to be with them?
So not exactly. So what happened was, a lot of people move to LA wanting to work in Hollywood, and they do their first year at an agency because everything goes through an agency. You learn the most. You see every side of like Hollywood through an agency, and then after a year, you look somewhere else. And it had just been like 7 months for me, but it was a lot of other people's year, and they were having a really hard time finding another job. So I was like, okay, let's look early and just look at like great spots. I saw a job listing for Levity. I looked it up. I saw Bert Kreischer, and I was like, fuck yes. And I applied. It was the first place I applied to, and luckily I got it.
It's amazing.
So, yeah, and everyone at Levity was amazing, treated me great, learned so much, and at the time, it seemed like that was going to be my future.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then COVID happened. I was an assistant at the time. Every other assistant got let go. So I was managing every manager. And then at the end of the year, for New Year's 2021, I went to Philadelphia for a New Year's party. And I fell. And I woke up paralyzed under my shoulders. I couldn't move or feel anything. And I spent the next 2.5 months in the hospital and the next like year rehabbing. Yeah, it's kind of a lot. But so like huge, crazy, my whole life was turned upside down. And a part of the rehab was I love my life. I want to get back to Levity. I want to get back to doing my job. And then a year later, I go back to work. And it was just different because the insane experience I went through, it just gave me a different outlook on life. I used to want to be married to my job. I used to want, this job was everything to me. But after all the friends and family that were so there for me and being this close to dying, the doctor told me if it had affected me like a centimeter or even less higher in my neck, it would have affected my lungs or my brain, and I'd be dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
To hear that information.
Yeah. So I was back there, and you're getting texts and calls at like 11 p.m. on a Saturday, or texts from some crazy clients at 3 a.m., and you're expected to respond and do it. And I was like, this isn't how I want to live my life. I need a job that allows me to go work, make a good amount of money, and then just hang out with friends and family and do the things that I want to do instead of just living this job.
Leave work at work.
Yeah.
I mean, and definitely, as an assistant and then project manager, going on that manager, partner, agent track, like that is, that's beyond full time. That's 24 hours a day. That's your whole entire life.
Yeah.
And, that's definitely like an eye-opening experience. They say that, when we have like traumas and things like that in life as humans, they can really trigger us to, look inward and see, what we really want.
Right. That or the opposite. So thank God that you took it as the, more positive moving forward instead of going into that whole like, oh my God, dude, like it really fucks with you,
So what do you do now?
Right now I'm just doing social media because of the whole accident. Okay, so here's what happened. I get hurt, and one of my goals, they tell you to set goals, right? And goals are normally kick your leg out or like stand up or like move your arm. My first goal is to flip people off. And I told that to a bunch of people, and my boss's husband, who I was close with, was like, oh, you should make a funny video once you can flip people off. And I'm like, that's a great idea. So I make this video. I think it's hilarious. I send it to friends, family, and these like clients, these like famous comedians, the funniest people in the world, and everyone's like posted on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I had just downloaded TikTok while I was in the hospital to help pass the time. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then but since everyone from each different group told me to do it, I was like, fine. So I post it, and it gets like 500,000 views. And I'm like, okay, maybe let's make some more videos. So I started making half like jokes and half like inspirational shit about what was going on. And I just started blowing up. And it's come to a point where now I have like a lot of followers, and I'm doing like brand deals and making a decent amount of money that way.
So you're a TikTok star.
I guess.
Oh,
are you reluctant to say that? He's a TikTok star.
Whatever, dude.
Wait,
it's worth it.
Are you Gen Z?
No, I'm a millennial.
You are a millennial.
95.
Okay, you're right
I
on
think
the
it's like
brink.
97 Gen Z starts. Yeah.
So
that's right. It is. Yep.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Okay, so
And you know exactly what I mean, like what?
Yeah, so there's this party right at my buddy's place. There's some drama between people, and there was this girl that I'd been talking to all night. She said, hey, let's go back to my apartment. I'm like, cool. So I go back with her. 2 of her best friends go as well. And we're kind of up all night partying. I end up spending the night on the couch, and then I get up around 7 a.m. just to go pee and go back to bed. I just remember walking into the bathroom, and then I just remember waking up on the ground, the 3 girls around me just freaking out. And they're like, you have to get up. And I'm like, I'm trying, I can't move. I also, like, when I woke up, I didn't realize who they were. I didn't realize where I was. I was, like, really concussed. There's blood on the floor.
So you didn't even know how you felt?
I don't know how I felt.
Wow.
Later, I found out from, like, the doctor and them who might have talked to the doctor that I tripped. My head hit the sink, and my head snapped back, and that's what caused the injury in my neck.
Head shit's scary, too, because one hit on the head, that people die. You know what I mean? Like,
So as I'm on the floor trying to, like, figure out what happened, I feel, like, the slightest sensation in my leg. And I'm like, are you touching me? And she's like, yeah, I'm shaking your leg. Can't you feel this? And that's when, like, everyone realized how serious it was. And then the girl whose place it was that I thought I was going to hook up with that night says, oh, we're not calling an ambulance. I can't. I'm an attorney, and there's, you know, evidence of a party, and if they find it...
Flush it, bitch. What the fuck? Who cares?
I know. She said she'd lose her license. So the other 2 girls are like, we need to call an ambulance, and they're just fighting her. I'm on the ground like, what's happening? Oh,
and how long is this going on for them?
So when the ambulance eventually came, they asked how long I'd been there, and they said 45 minutes, which means it had been at least 45 minutes. It was like a rough start to this journey.
Oh my God. Like, and your mental state at the time must have been like, holy, like, I can never imagine how it feels or doesn't feel to not feel.
It's weird. And the thing is, like, I kept telling myself, like, I can do this, I can get up, because it was under my shoulders. So my shoulders worked. I was like arranging my arms so it was like ready to push off, and I was like trying to push myself off the ground. And I was like, come on. Oh, but then, like, nothing would happen. It was bad. It was pretty scary.
These bitches wait 45 minutes.
I know. And then when they're like, I'm in the hospital and they're wheeling me down, it felt like straight out of like a movie scene where they show you the shot, the overhead lights. That's exactly what was happening.
Oh man.
And I had no knowledge of paralysis or spinal cord injury. So I had no idea if I was going to be fine the next day or if I was just going to be unable to move all my limbs for the rest of my life. It was really scary.
So they obviously, you get there and then you knock out and then they're doing stuff. Like, what is the procedure
Oh, wait, one more amazing part is they check me in. They're like, you're paralyzed. They do a nose swab and they're like, sir, you also have COVID.
Oh, lit.
Yeah.
Oh, anything else?
So I'm like, okay, like, can you just pull the plug?
Oh God.
And then they do the MRI, and that was probably the worst part. It was 2 hours long.
Shit.
I had to wear a mask because I had COVID. They wouldn't take it off just for that part. And the whole time, the mask was like going out and in my mouth, and I couldn't adjust it because I was paralyzed. And they kept saying, sir, stop moving. And I'm like, I'm paralyzed. I'm not fucking moving. And they're like, your legs are shaking. I was having muscle spasms in my legs. So because of that, it took longer and longer. And it's just the loud noise. And that was hell. That was absolute hell. So then that happens. And then they say the next day, we're going to do surgery on your neck. And I remember when they wheeled me in, I like made eye contact with the anesthesiologist. And I was just thinking to myself, I hope you're an absolute idiot. I hope you have no idea what you're doing. I hope I go to sleep and never wake up again. But I did wake up. And they wheel me back to my room, and then the doctors come in and they say, look, we don't know what's going to happen. There's a chance that you can gain some movement back. And there's 2 things you need to do to give yourself the best chance of that. And it's work as hard as you can in rehab and do everything you can to stay positive. And for some reason, my brain just like flipped. And all I heard was, if you do these 2 things, you can recover. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to work harder than anyone's ever worked. And I'm going to be happier than anyone's ever been and more positive. And I'm going to make a full recovery. Even though that's not what they meant. But that's how I took it. That's how I took it. And from then on, it was just, have you ever like played a sport competitively?
Yeah.
Do you ever like in the zone?
Okay, yep.
I was in the zone for the next like 3 months. just happiness and busting my ass in rehab. And I just started recovering like there was no tomorrow. Like,
so obviously there's levels to it, right? So what was like the first goal? Was it like what you were saying, like, sorry, I'll pick up the leg thing, or like what is like?
So while I was still,
a process, dude.
So I was in the hospital, like ICU for 2 weeks, and then I moved to the rehab hospital. When I was in the hospital, some PTs would come in, but I could barely move, and the goal was, they'd pull me up to sit on the side of the bed, and the goal was don't fall over, and I could use my arms as balance. And I remember before I left, I was able to, you're totally crunched over because you have like no muscles, but I was able to balance and not fall over without my arms. And they were like, wow, amazing. We've never seen it before. And I was like, fuck yes. Then you get to the rehab hospital, and I couldn't start the normal rehab yet because I had COVID. So they had people like come in my room all geared up, and they would just try to like maybe kick my legs, and I would like barely move them. But over the first, 2.5 weeks, nothing was like moving well, but just about every part of my body was starting to show signs of life. Like I had a little bit of like toe movement. I had a little bit of quad movement. I had a little bit of like I could like maybe like go like this. Everything except for my fingers, which was really scary.
Right.
Yeah, so like 2.5, 3 weeks in, everything was moving except for my hands, and I thought like I would never use my hands again. I thought I'd never like feed myself. I'd never use my phone or computer. It was really scary, and that was my first. That was a mental breakdown. That wasn't the first one. The first one was actually a week in. I hadn't cried yet, and then I watched Fast and Furious 7. Oh, no. And I'm laughing the whole time because they're like falling 3 floors, and they just get up, and I'm like, haha, I tripped in the bathroom.
Yeah, right. Seriously.
But then at the end of the movie is the memorial for Paul Walker, and I cried so hard.
No.
I think I just used that as like an outlet to get out all these pent up emotions I had. I was crying so hard I couldn't breathe, and then for the next couple of days, every time I thought about it, I would start crying again.
It finally hit you, I feel.
Oh, it just hit me.
You must have been just shocked the whole time, and then you're like, whoa, this is my life.
Yeah. So sorry, back to the hand thing. Had this mental breakdown. I'm never going to use my hands again. And then the PT like grabs my hand, just like, let's do this. We go finger by finger. And then my left thumb moved like a millimeter. And I was so happy because I was like, if it can move that much, it's going to improve. And then slowly it did. And then slowly the rest of my fingers started moving. And now my left hand is like pretty much normal. My right hand's a little shitty, but it's like good enough to get by.
Right, for sure. Yeah. Are you a righty or a lefty anyways?
I'm a righty. Now I'm kind of, I use both for different things. Like I play beer pong lefty, but I write righty.
Such a dude, I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you're obviously a dude. Were you like, oh my God, am I never going to be able to jack off?
I didn't think about that.
So
or get hard
I actually wasn't thinking about it too much.
It's the last thing on his mind.
But okay, what can I say?
You can say whatever you want.
I know, but like,
he's saying what can I say?
Well, we can.
I know what can I not what's okay on the podcast. What's okay for me to say publicly?
Oh, yes, let's.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story. Do you know the story?
I do.
Okay. So, because I had COVID, I couldn't see anyone I knew. And as a joke and for fun, I thought it would be really funny to make a Tinder account with just photos of me in the hospital fucked up. And I made my bio recently paralyzed. My neck brace holds up to 150 pounds. Come take a seat.
Like on your face.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Aaron's laughing.
Because your tongue worked. You could,
Take a seat, bitch. I love the confidence. I love this.
And I got so many matches, but I wasn't trying to like get laid. I just wanted to have like funny conversations. They'd be like, "Oh, you have beautiful eyes." I'd be like, "Oh, thanks. The only working part of my body." They'd be like, "What up?" I'd be like, "Not me. My legs don't work." I was just joking and just. Like I would send
It's bringing you positivity, you know?
I'd send on Tinder like the gif of Leonardo DiCaprio on Lemons from Wolf of Wall Street. Remember when he's like crawling to the Lamborghini?
Okay, yes,
And I would
yes.
send that gif and be like, me on my way to pick you up.
Oh my God, that's so
And it was like,
perfect.
it was just so much fun. It was so much fun. But there was one girl that just kept responding, and next thing you know, it's getting a little raunchy. And she's sending me nudes, and she's like, I want to visit you in the hospital. And at that time, like, I didn't even think about it. I just believed my dick would work. But here was the thing. I had a catheter. I couldn't pee on my own. So I say to the doctor, like, hey, doc,
Listen,
like,
my boy,
I got to get this catheter
girl's
out.
committed, yeah.
And he goes, okay, there's like a test that tests if you can pee on your own, we'll do it in 2 weeks. And I'm like, no. I need this out as soon as possible.
I got hoes coming. What do you don't understand?
And he goes, okay, we'll take it out tomorrow. Then I go to my PT session, and my PT says, oh, I hear they're taking it out. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, if they take it out, you can't pee on your own, and that means your bladder will overfill, leak into your kidneys, you'll have organ failure and die.
Damn.
And I was like, all right. So now I'm like,
Risking it all.
death, sex. Death, sex. So the next day they took it out. And luckily, I didn't have that issue. I actually had the opposite issue, was since my bladder was constantly draining, every like 5 minutes I had to pee.
Oh, fabulous. So maybe it was better, maybe. Who knows?
And they'd tell me like, just practice holding it in. So it was, first day was like every 5 minutes, next day every 10 minutes, next day every like 20. The day I could hold it in for 2 hours, this girl came to the hospital.
Let's go.
She had to check in, get a mask, go up the elevator, past all like the old people in wheelchairs, come to my room, which I had the nurse write a do not disturb sign on my door, and still want to. And the whole time, like, I don't know if this is like actually gonna happen. She could totally come here and just want to like talk.
For sure.
And we spoke for like 15, 20 seconds, and then she goes, can I just kiss you? And I was like, yeah. And then I got laid. It was awesome.
Did she obviously got on top, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be careful. I would hold myself up because I'd be so scared.
Yeah, she
And
was
I would just try
scared.
to-
She was saying shit like, if this hurts you, let me know. I was like, I can barely feel.
Why don't you marry her?
Look, she's a great girl, but not my normal type.
Did she have sex with you too soon?
I want a nice Jewish girl,
Yes.
innocent. Yeah.
Jewish girls, are they innocent?
We'll find you one.
Yeah.
We'll get one for you.
I actually have heard that Jewish men make the best husbands. Have you heard that?
We do.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. We're great. We're the
I have
best.
heard that.
Well, maybe I'll convert Chase if it all else fails.
I'll take a convert.
Okay, cool.
I'll
He
take
will.
an ex-goy.
He will take someone that
I'll
converts.
take an ex-goy, yeah.
Let's go. That's what it's called?
Well, my name is Miriam. I'm halfway there.
You
Okay.
are. You're close.
Worked for a rabbi and everything.
Did
You worked for a rabbi?
Every day I hear another new fucking job.
Every day. Shout out to Rabbi David Barron.
Rabbi
Beverly Hills
David,
Temple of the
gang.
Arts. What's up?
What did you do?
I was like his assistant and planned the events. I
I bet
planned
you were,
Shabbat.
sweetie.
Anyways,
No,
back
well,
to
let's
you.
let's get to the part two where what was that? Was it ABC or was it what was the one that filmed when you did the stairs? So how did that all become?
Okay,
into
so earlier I spoke about my goals, right, and how my first goal was flipping people off. But my main goal, that right after the doctors told me they didn't know if I'd ever move again, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna walk up the Rocky Steps, the art museum steps in Philly before I leave. And just by the way, for context, I stayed in Philly for rehab because it was one of the best spinal cord rehab centers in the country.
Lucky.
So I was like, I want to go home, but I'd rather get better care. And they kind of looked at me like I was out of my mind, and like they're kind of thinking like, how do I break it to him? That's not going to happen.
Right.
But in rehab, I told my therapist that was my goal. So from the beginning, we were practicing steps. Even before I couldn't stand, I'd have like my arms, one arm around each therapist. They'd be moving my legs for me, just practicing steps. And eventually it gets to the point where it seems like it's going to be possible. So at this point, I have some like followers on TikTok. I make a video about how this is the plan, and I'm going to live stream it. Come watch the live stream. It blows the hell up. Like Sylvester Stallone saw it and Arnold Schwarzenegger saw it, and they were sharing
So
it
crazy.
on their like socials. And then even though I just wanted people to like watch the live stream, hundreds of people actually showed up in person to watch, including a couple news stations. Like I think the local CBS was there, and like the local newspaper, like the Philadelphia Inquirer, were there.
Holy fuck.
It was a trip.
It's an event.
It was an event, and I did it. Actually, yeah. Okay, so I did it. It was crazy out of body experience when I got to the top and like stood where the rocky steps were.
God,
put my arms up, and there were street performers who, right when I started, I think they realized what was going on and they just started playing the Rocky theme music.
Stop
it
it!
was
Wow.
It was so hype.
it.
It was so hype. But another funny thing is that was a week after I got out of the hospital. And when you leave the hospital, they're like, okay, here's all your medication you need to do. There was a miscommunication between me and the doctor on my laxatives because, you know, that's a muscle, and which is weak, so I needed to take laxatives. And I was accidentally underdosing myself. And I'd just seen the doctor, and they're like, oh, you're underdosing. You need to do this more. I hadn't pooped in like 4 or 5 days.
Fuck.
So I'm now nervous that
You're gonna shit your pants.
I'm gonna shit my pants while I'm walking up these steps. Thank God it didn't happen. And speaking of, I told this to Bert Kreischer right before I went up, and he goes, Chase, if you shit your pants and then look at the camera and go burtburtburt.com, I'll give you $10,000. I was like, oh.
You're like, get it out of me.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, at least
That
I'll be
is the
rich.
funniest
At
thing.
least I'll be rich
Oh my
if
God.
I shit my pants. And there were 30,000 people on the live stream. So
Wow.
yeah, that would have been tough.
So was it like your live personally? Did somebody hold your like, or was it like just from the actual?
No, I had my buddy hold my camera.
Okay,
and-
cool. So
and
he's
record it.
the one that did the whole thing.
Was it
How long
TikTok?
did it take to get up? Did you take little breaks or?
No breaks, but I'm slow. So I'd say I was up in like 10-ish minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
many steps are there?
72 steps.
Okay.
And actually, the biggest difficulty for me was not the strength I kind of had at that point, but there was no handrail. And one of my biggest challenges was, so there's this thing called proprioception. And that's basically, if you close your eyes, I know my arm is out here or up here or down here.
Right.
Because I just know where it is in space. And I didn't have that sensation in my legs. So whenever I was walking, I had to look down to see where my legs were, and it just makes your balance really bad. So like, if I'm kicking my leg forward, I don't know if it's going straight forward or a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. And I was just really nervous I'd like lose my balance and fall.
Oh, you're saying as far as like walking one in front of the
Yeah,
other. Okay.
yeah, because like it can feel like you're pulling it straight, but you might accidentally be pulling it a little bit to the
Right.
left or to the right, and just my balance was really bad. But I made it. It was really scary, especially with such an audience. But yeah, did it. Coolest moment of my life.
Awesome. What do you do for workouts now? I mean, you are obviously fit. Are you still in physical therapy? Like-
Yeah, so I'm taking it one step further, and right now my new goal is to run a 5K.
Nice.
So I'm in physical therapy twice a week. The other days I'm in the gym or at a track working on my own. And the 5K was a goal I had like a year or two ago, and it seemed impossible. But starting this year, I was like, you know what? Let's just go hard at it. And I couldn't even jog at the beginning of the year. And it's come to a point where not only can I jog, but I'm starting to improve really exponentially. Like 2 weeks ago, the farthest I went was 1.5 minutes nonstop on a
Holy
treadmill.
shit.
Last week, I did 5 minutes, or a little over 5 minutes. I did all of Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Okay, lit. That's the only way to go. You gotta
I was
listen
like,
to that
I
when you
need
do it.
it. I need
So
it.
like collapse is a good one too. Do that
I
one.
need to get hyped. So it's really seeming like I'm gonna do it, and pretty excited.
When is this now?
Great.
What?
Yeah, we should come. When is it?
I don't know yet. I said once I can run a mile, I'll set a date, but I don't know if I'm gonna go to a 5K or like make my own.
Yeah.
So
Maybe turkey trot on Thanksgiving?
I'm thinking maybe around the end of the year or January to mark like the 3 year of my accident and do it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then. Yeah. Also, it'll give me enough time to make sure I'm
That'll
ready.
be a huge feat.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Is this bitch in Philadelphia, is she an attorney still?
So I don't know. What I do know is that the two friends that were her best friends like totally dropped her.
Good.
And I never sued her, but it seemed like just a
Fuck you,
hassle.
ho.
Yeah, fuck you, ho. Yeah.
That's crazy. So you made it. You made it through.
Made it through.
Which is interesting because some people, like, they have to be in, like, wheelchairs forever or, like, a brace or whatever like that. So this is going to be a different, awkward version of our segment.
It's gonna be my favorite one.
Fuck, marry, kill. Mimi, take us through.
Oh, fuck, marry, kill. Well, obviously, kill the bitch back in Philly.
You're dead to me.
Fuck, marry, kill. 3 choices. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. Larry Flint, Christopher Reeve, Stephen Hawking.
Okay. Actually, really quick, funny thing about Christopher Reeve is my mom, she runs an animal sanctuary for, like, farm animals, and she's always been telling me, like, Chase, come ride a horse.
Uh-huh.
And I said, no, that's what killed Superman. He was paralyzed from a horse, and then I never rode a horse, and then I still ended up fucking paralyzed, so.
Oh, my God. So we know who he's killing.
So, no, I think it would have to be marry Christopher Reeve, because I did love the Superman movies. Fuck Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. If you could.
If I could.
Why?
He's a good-looking dude.
You sick fuck.
Maybe I'm sick.
Rehab changed you.
Maybe I'm sick. And killed the last guy. Hustler magazine. I never read that magazine.
Right.
All right.
Okay. I think that I would fuck Christopher Reeve, Superman.
Nice.
Because I feel like he can carry me and, well, maybe. Who knows? I think that I would marry, is it Larry?
Larry Flint.
Larry Flint? Yeah. Marry him just because I feel like he probably made a lot of money with those hustler things, and he's got a kink, I got a kink. I'm sure he's, doing his thing, I'll do my thing, so it's like I get to benefit it, but still live my life. And kill Stephen Hawking, because it's just like, I would get scared fucking him. I'd be like, oh, like, don't look at me. Like, I'm into some weird shit, but that's a little weird. So, that's where I'm at.
Okay. I would marry Christopher Reeve. He
looks like a husband. He just husband material.
Oh, he's so hot. So fucking hot. I would kill Larry Flint because he's just too controversial even for my taste.
Oh, good point.
And I would fuck Stephen Hawking and hope to have a genius baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Carry on those genetics.
You think smart. Like,
See,
sometimes I'm like, Mimi, but that was smart.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Let's have a genius baby.
He's like, my thoughts exactly.
Look, one of the first to be running after being paralyzed, maybe one of the first to have a kid.
Right, true story.
Males.
He's an inspiration.
Yeah. Actually, is that too problematic to say?
No.
Okay.
It's on brand for us.
Okay.
And speaking of that, to follow Chase's story and the continuance, maybe, tap in, you'll see him at the 5K. You should definitely come if you live in Los Angeles. Chase, if you want to give your social media to this bad boy right here.
Instagram is Chase Unfiltered and TikTok is Chase Gets Better.
Amazing.
And he is, bitch, every fucking day.
Yeah, the best.
Thank you so much for being on this.
Thank you for having me.
We always, at the very end, we'll flick off the main camera right here, because this is where we're at.
We know you love to do this.
Yeah, oh yes, this is even better.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.